10 WWE superstars who need to change promotions ASAP. Number 10. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. There's a reason that die-hard wrestling fans were incredibly excited when the news broke that the former Bullet Club boys, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows, were signing with WWE. And that is because they were one of the best tag teams on the planet. Two guys who were incredibly cool and managed to get the job done in the ring, had bags of chemistry, and could get over as baby faces or heels. They seem like a perfect fit for WWE, yet for some reason, they haven't been given the chance to shine properly. There have been glimpses of excellence, such as when they teamed with AJ Styles during his heel run, or when they were Raw Tag Team Champions. But the problem is, they're just glimpses. WWE needs to strap a rocket to these guys and let them shine properly, sooner rather than later. Number 9. Apollo Crews. During the early stages of his WWE career, it seems as if Apollo Crews was going to be the next big thing in the company, taking NXT by storm and having some brilliant matches against the likes of Finn Balor, but then WWE made the decision to pull him onto the main roster before he was ready. Crews has never been able to develop any form of personality, and his gimmick starts and ends with smiling, which is why he has achieved absolutely nothing, because there's no reason for fans to get behind him. However, a simple way of getting him over would be to do what was happening in NXT in the first place, which was by using his in-ring qualities to showcase how good of a wrestler he was, which is something that the fans would eventually gravitate toward. Number 8. Cesaro. Over the past year, it is hard to say that Cesaro has been underutilized as alongside Sheamus. The Bar has been one of the very best tag teams in the company, going for a team nobody wanted to see to one of the most popular in WWE. However, when you consider just how good the Swiss Superman is, then it becomes very easy to say he's being underutilized, because he could easily be one of the top main event level stars if the company booked him right. There are fewer wrestlers more skilled than Cesaro, and with all the experience he has now had on the main roster, especially during his time with Sheamus, which has given him chances on the microphone, when his time comes to the singles wrestler once again, he should receive a major push. Number 7. Mike Kanellis. If you saw the work that Mike Kanellis was putting on around the world on the independent scene, then you know exactly why he's being underutilized by WWE right now, because he was doing an excellent job everywhere he went. He had become such a popular act that WWE decided to bring him back into the company and gave him a big main roster push straight away. But just as quickly as he appeared, he then disappeared and hasn't really been seen since. The ideal decision for WWE would be to place him in NXT and rebuild him, because it's going to be very tricky to do anything with him on the main roster now. But if Maria Kanellis returns to TV, things could improve. Number 6. Bobby Roode. The Glorious One is a prime example of someone who made a big splash in NXT but has quickly become a small fish in a big pond when arriving on the main roster, which is a shame to see, because Bobby Roode has lots to offer. Not only does he have years worth of experience and knowledge, but he's able to gain a reaction from the crowd, especially as a top level heel, which is where WWE is missing a trick on the main roster. Instead of relying on the glorious chant, WWE should be having Roode appear as a cocky, arrogant heel who brings out the suits and uses his slow and technical wrestling style to frustrate the fans further. While he might not reach the main event status on the main roster, he certainly should be a bigger focal point. Number 5. Bayley. Bayley should have been the ultimate babyface as far as women's wrestling is concerned, with the former NXT Women's Champion having the potential to become the female version of John Cena. She was that popular with the younger demographic. For the company, that means huge merchandise sales, and for the writers, it means a top main event caliber star to write stories for. Yet here we are, and Bayley's now incredibly bland, barely used outside of multi-woman tag team matches, and isn't given the spotlight she deserves. Of course, the storylines cannot always revolve around the 4 horsewomen, but when they are not given that push, they should be protected much like Charlotte Flair. Sadly, the steam has pretty much run out for Bayley now, but hopefully, a major summer feud with Sasha Banks can put her back on track. Number 4. Finn Balor. When Finn Balor first arrived on the main roster, he was treated like a megastar and someone who's going to be a fresh face in the main roster scene. Yet an unfortunate injury has totally derailed all those plans. Since his return to action, Balor has struggled to make any impact at all, even in the mid-card, where he has very few memorable moments or feuds, which is a huge shame considering how talented the former NXT champion is. Balor should be a top star in WWE. He proved how good he can be in that position during his NXT run, and the fans bought into his character when he first became Universal Champion, so there's no reason for WWE pushing him further down the card. Number 3. Kassius Ohno. At one point, it was rumored that Kassius Ohno was actually going to be the third member of the Shield instead of Roman Reigns. So to think WWE considered him for that spot, now he can barely be featured talent in NXT, is a real fall from grace. Ohno's weight gain was seen as a major reason why he was released in the first place, and since his return to the company, WWE has only really positioned him as an experienced talent to put over other wrestlers in the mid-card. It's a shame that this is the case, because Ohno could be doing a lot more for the company. While any chance of him ever becoming NXT champion is pretty much out of the window, he could be well placed in a tag team on the main roster where his experience could be better used. Number 2. Chad Gable. It seems as if people have forgotten exactly how talented Chad Gable is in the past year, and that includes WWE management who are missing out on a huge talent simply by not giving him a chance to shine, with his only opportunities on Raw seemingly coming against Jinder Mahal. Not only is Gable one of the very best in-ring wrestlers in the company, managing to blend his amateur wrestling style with the normal professional style that fans are more accustomed to, but he also has bags of charisma. The reason American Alpha was so popular was because Gable was able to grab the WWE Universe by the hand with his comedic ability, with him being the only person that managed to get Jason Jordan over. Hopefully, WWE can begin to showcase him a little more, because a top mid-card run would be in everyone's best interest. Number 1. Tye Dillinger. How the perfect 10 has fallen to the spot he is currently in is unknown, because when he first appeared on the main roster, he's one of the most popular wrestlers in the entire company, with the 10 chant being the biggest thing since Daniel Bryan's yes chant. Instead of pushing him as a strong mid-carder from the get-go, WWE pushed him further and further down the card, only really using him to put over other talents, which totally killed all the momentum that he had from NXT. Dillinger is a very talented wrestler and someone who's a real company man. Having worked with WWE for over a decade, it just seems like WWE did not want the 10 chance and he was punished for being popular.